Right, 9:30. Welcome. Let me get my little ADHD brain into what we're doing. So, I always like to kick off with a acknowledgement of the traditional owners on the lands on which we are all gathering. If you do know the lands that you are on, please do pop it in the chat. I love to learn these things. I'm from Bundjalung country, which is in northern New South Wales. So around Ballina Evans Head is my home turf. And I do want to pay my respects to all First Nations people, Torres Strait Islander people, and for elders past, present, and emerging. Now, we've already got a hand up. Michelle, that was quick. We haven't even got started. So I'm just going to do a little bit of an intro. The way we're going to run this session, folks, is, as I said, I'll be keeping an eye on the chat. So as we go, any questions that come to mind, please do use the chat for that. We will be giving you a walk through the back end of the system so you can see what it does. Now, we get it. This is a huge, huge system, and it does do so much more than just a CRM or a customer relationship management system. So please don't think you're going to get your head around everything in, the hour. It's taken us 4 years. And I'm not kidding, to kind of go, oh my God, we can do that too. Oh, that's really cool. What does that mean? Oh, that. So, think about this in terms of all of the systems that you already have in your business. What's working, what's not, what are some gaps that you'd like to plug? And as we go through everything, we're happy to answer those questions. Now, as I mentioned, there is a lifetime deal on SuiteDash at the moment, and it is running until the 12th of July. And it is $199 USD, so 199 US. And essentially that means that you don't have to pay anything more ever. Now, terms and conditions apply, and we'll talk about, they do a thing called power ups. We'll talk a little bit about that as we go through. But they don't care whether you have one person in your contact list or whether you have 10,000 or 100,000. You're not going to be asked to pay any more once you get in. And that was a really big deciding factor for us. When we jumped ship from the last system we were on into SuiteDash, we were paying $1,500 a month for that system. And it really, as a small business owner, that's a big chunk of coin to be handing out every month. And quite honestly, it wasn't giving us the return on investment. So when you think that we were able to swap over from $1,500 a month to $199 US lifetime, there's an immediate saving of like what, 10, 15 grand a year. Maths is not my strong point. I'm going to hang to Pete for those ones. So, you do need to be thinking this through as you're going through. Is it gold standard? Is it, the best that you can get? Look, probably not. Salesforce, I would say, is right up there. HubSpot is right up there. For us, this is like the Hyundai. This thing just, has that 7-year unlimited K warranty. It doesn't break down. It does what it says it's going to do on the box. And SuiteDash really do have a motto of do the work, get your life back. So they understand that there is some learning, a bit of a learning curve to get into this system. But once you're there, as I said, it's pretty seamless. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce, I know a few of you on the call probably haven't met Pete. A few of you may not have met me. Maybe you've been dragged into this by someone else kicking and screaming. So I'm the digital guide. My name is Tracy Sheen. I'm a roving innovation hub, essentially. Pete and I drive around regional Australia, upskilling and building capacity and capability into regions around digital literacy and AI tools. I'm the author of The End of Technophobia, which you may see over my shoulder there, winner of Best Technology Book and Australian Business Book of the Year, regular on Koshi's Business Builders, and I've been doing this for about 30 odd years. So been around a long time. We have been partners and associates and affiliates with a number of different CRMs over the time, Agile, HubSpot, Zoho, you name it, Entreport. We've kind of been there, done that. And now we are Australian ambassadors for SuiteDash. So what that means for you is if you take advantage of the $199 USD deal, and I'll be popping the link in the chat as we go along, we do get a kickback, okay? $199 USD is what you pay. We get 15% of that. So I do want to be very transparent with that. We use the system we have done for a number of years, but I'm going to let Pete tell you a little bit about our journey into SuiteDash as I keep an eye on the chat. Good morning, Peter.
Hello. Am I coming through live and clear? Hi, everybody. I'm nowhere near as skilled at this as Tracy is. I like to say I'm the silent partner in the business and in life, and I will keep throwing to Tracy both in life and business through this call. She can kind of interview me and keep me on track. I tend to get a little excited and get off track, so please bear with me. Our SuiteDash journey, is that what I'm starting with, Tracy? Our SuiteDash journey, guys. So I first came across SuiteDash, well, it was before COVID. It was a long time before COVID. And it kept popping up in feeds. I read a little bit about the founder starting up the company and those sorts of things. And I signed up for it when we were having a weekend at the sunny coast, thinking I would play with it and try it. And I did, and I didn't like it at all. And I cancelled and got a refund. And then about 18 months later, again, before COVID, it came up again. And I'd been following it. And I said to Tracy, I think this time I might take the lifetime deal. It was a special like the one we're talking about today. And I didn't. I missed it. And I felt really sad at myself because at that stage we were up to paying a lot of money to HubSpot. We were HubSpot partners, so technically it was an investment, but really it was a cost. And we were paying like everybody else to have all the facilities. So then I think it would have been during COVID, another lifetime special came up, like we're offering you guys, and I jumped on it immediately, like straight away, and then immersed myself during the lockdowns of doing the work. And Tracy's exactly right. Mike from SuiteDash is exactly right. You do the work, you get your life back. So I did do the work, and now our system is at the stage where Tracy says, I want to run a webinar on Monday morning, and I need a landing page, I need a payment link, I need a list of people who are in Northern Queensland or in Darwin or across the whole country. And it's also easy. Things like that used to cause so much grief are now just easy. Tracy says, I want to start a newsletter. I'm not so worried these days about how we're going to get it out because I know everything's just in place. So really very, very impressed with the system. In the time we've been using it, there have been a few bugs. Systems have bugs. I found their help before we were on the inner circle to be amazing. I would send a request off, understand the different time zone, and almost always I'd have an answer the next morning. Their answers are usually concise and simple, and usually answer my question, and usually it's something dumb I've done. But in a few times there has been, we'll send this to the development team because it looks like you've uncovered something. So it's been a nice journey, a nice mix, and dare I say, a lot more personal than when we were with HubSpot or Entreport or the big corporates. They have very schmick systems and are very good, but this one just works for us. Now, let's be really clear. If you have an enterprise level business, turning over lots of money, staff all over the place, I probably wouldn't recommend this. It really works nicely for the small to medium business. It really supports people who are invested in it and able to manually operate it, as well as take the advantage of all the automations and the facilities that it gives us in the background. So what Tracy and I are passionate about is empowering you to run your business the best you can. We're not about billing you heaps of money to set up a monthly deal. We're not about implementing it for you, although we do that for a few special people after they've learned the basics. What we're about is you being able to run this yourself. And I believe 90% of people can do that.
All right, let's start to have a bit of a look in the system, because the questions are coming through thick and fast, and I think they are going to be answered by us looking in the back end and looking at the system, to be honest. So if you want to start sharing your screen and take us through, you know, from the outset of what it looks like. Now, the first thing to remember, folks, as we look at this, SuiteDash at its core is a CRM, okay? So CRM stands for Customer Relationship Manager, and it is the way that we as business owners keep in contact with our customers. But your customers could be your staff members, it could be your suppliers, it could be your clients, it could be prospective clients. So don't narrow your thinking to, oh, it just needs to be people that are exchanging money with us, okay? Because we're going to show you one of the ways that we use SuiteDash to keep in contact with our suppliers, as well as media, as well as et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So at its core, Customer Relationship Manager. So that's where the similarities with platforms like HubSpot, like ActiveCampaign, like Agile, like Ontraport meet, because they are at their core CRM systems. When we're talking about things like MailChimp, lead pages, those types of things, they are not CRMs. MailChimp is built as an email marketing platform. It is not a CRM. So first thing you need to know is, at its core, SuiteDash will allow you to build, engage, and leverage relationships with the different people that you are working with. So as we go through this, you'll notice at the top there is an option for a free trial. Now, they'll give you 2 weeks free trial that you can play around with. My big flag here is to say, please go ahead, try the free trial, but please use a burner email, okay? Like a cat@gmail or something like that. The reason for that is, if you decide to take up the lifetime deal, that's where you need to use the email that you will use for your business. It makes it really messy to swap emails around if you go from a free trial to the lifetime deal. So please, if you want to play around with the free trial, do so. It's a great way to kind of get in and go, holy crap, look at all this stuff it does. But just use an Outlook, a Hotmail, a Gmail, a something, not your dedicated business email. So Pete, let's log in and show people from the get-go what the platform looks like from the outside. And I can see that we've got some questions coming in. So I am noticing them, and I'm going to answer them as we go along, because I can see where they're going to fit in the conversation. So Pete.
Right. So, Tracy, if you just want to kind of lead me to the questions when's appropriate, I can help answer them too. So SuiteDash.com is the website for the naked SuiteDash. And like Tracy said, you can set up a free trial or you can log in. One of the things I love about this platform is you can set up your own custom URL. You do a bit of magic in your website, which takes like a minute, And then you can have a link that is your website. So you'll see I've got ai.thedigitalguide.com.au, which is one of our SuiteDash setups. So when you register for something with the digital guide, you might notice in the URL it says user.thedigitalguide. That's another one. We've got a few overachievers. But having them set up with your branding is one of the big goals of SuiteDash. In fact, you can totally, what they call white label it, but you can totally remove every reference to the manufacturer. So, for Tracy's analogy of a car, it's like the guy you see driving down the street in his Hyundai i30 that's pimped it out so much you have to look 3 times to figure out what it is. With this system, we can white label it. So it is ours. We can change the colors, the look and feel. So if you look at this one, which is the AI.the digital guide, if you look at another one I've got set up, user.the digital guide, you'll see they look quite different, but the look and feel is the same. So that is one of the first things that you can do with it, is you can pimp it out to look like exactly how you want it to look.
And the other thing that happens with that is you do get a white labeled app, which is a web app, but your clients or yourself can install the app on your phone or your iPad, which means that you have access to everything that SuiteDash does on your phone without having to log in via the URL. And as we go through the thing, I'll tell you some of the ways that can be helpful. So Pete, maybe let's just look from the left-hand side. Let's go down the dashboard and talk a little bit about all of the different things that the system can do. Now we're on what we call our portal page, our home page here at the moment. And where this becomes really, really neat is if you think about suppliers or clients that you might work with, you can give them direct access into the system and they will only see what you want them to see. So, for example, I know Christina runs her mastermind group. So people could log into user at Christina Morgan Meldrum and they would come to a page that would look how Christina wants them to look. And the first time they log in, that page may look completely different. G'day, welcome to Christina's page. Before you go any further, you've got to watch this video and answer this question. And that will then lead them through the system to make sure that they're doing everything to be compliant with the way that you want them to operate. They can then have, so for example, with our suppliers, we use it that our graphic designer can access our files, can upload new files as they've been doing things. So we can have exactly different audiences, different journeys, different reasons for logging in. So when we ran our tech club, they had their own portal, which would have all of their videos, etc. on there. Our suppliers have their own version that they log into, that they can only see the bits and pieces that they're working on. Your internal staff or VAs, again, same thing, can be logging in and doing everything in the system that you need them to do without them cross-contaminating your platform or seeing stuff that you don't want them to see. So that's your home page. So let's go down the left-hand side, Pete. And so we've done the dashboard. So talk a little bit about the calendar integration there and what that means.
So the features of the calendar in this system are that you obviously can have your own calendar within the portal. So your calendar can have all your settings and all your appointments and link to the real world through a link through a Google Calendar. And we won't set that up now, but I could we could show you if any of you have questions.
So just like Calendly or any of those, you can see on the screen now, Pete's got a let's book a 60-minute call with Peter. Let's book a whatever call. So you can have that set up in SuiteDash, so you don't have to use Calendly or one of your other third-party booking tools that you may have had previously. You just set your appointment types up in there, 30 minutes, 60-minute Zoom call, phone call, whatever, Teams call, whatever, and that will link directly and book that time out into the calendar that you've linked. So whether you're a Microsoft or a Google user, it connects to your direct calendar. So if you've booked a 30-minute or a 60-minute call with me at any point to have a chat, you're going through my SuiteDash link and it's booking it directly and blocking the time out into my Google Calendar, because we run Google as our main system. So you can see that that's what that is doing there. It also means that you can set up different appointments for different clients again. So you might have so Christina's thing with her mastermind, she might have people that need to book regular appointments that can be branded and looking differently to an external calendar link, etc. So let's not spend too much time on anything because we've almost done half an hour already. So that gives you a bit of an idea. There's the first thing, you can get rid of a calendar link if that was something that you were using before. So the next one down on the list, Pete.
So the next on the operational side of things is the CRM, and the CRM is what it says on the box. It's where we manage our relationship with our customers. So we can have customers as companies and we can have customers as contacts. And
so again, very similar, and I know you're going to jump off that screen because we've got some live data showing there. It's very similar to, to a HubSpot or an Entreport or anything. It works exactly the same, so you need an email. All CRMs will label the person by an email. And then you can choose what data that you want off the back of that. So most people want first name, last name, business. If you run an ice cream shop, you might want to know what their favorite flavor ice cream is. For Kat might want to know what sort of camera they like using if she's, training photography. Christina might want to know, the book of the month or whatever it is. You can choose what information you need to know. So we have things like, do they have a copy of the first book? What webinars have they been to, et cetera, et cetera. So you get to choose and you get to set up what information from date of birth, drop down menus, et cetera. So all of that stuff is pretty much exactly the same as every other CRM. So not going to spend a lot of time in that. Obviously, the look and the feel is going to be a bit different, as it is with, jumping from one system to any other system. So you do need to keep that in mind. You can add notes. So when I'm chatting to Tina, I can be online and adding notes to the system. So I can set myself reminders, etc. of there. It will track the emails that I've sent and attach them to Tina's file. So I know the conversations that we've been having as we go through. So again, very, very similar to most of your standard CRMs there. So let's go down to the Office section, Pete, please, because I feel like the
Just
CRM is pretty.
One thing on the CRM, it does have a deals pipeline, which Tracy loves, where you, like any of the big end CRMs, HubSpot, Entreport, you can set up your potential deals and track them through various stages, fully customizable. So you can set up your stages exactly how it works for your business, from like a lead to a prospect to a client to a whatever. It has multiple views. So yeah, it's quite a good system. If we go to the Office.
Mm-hmm. And as you're doing that, sorry, Tina's just asked, you mentioned linking with Google Calendar, does it link with Outlook? Yes, it does. So you can connect your emails and your calendars. So when you send an email through SuiteDash, it'll look like it's coming from you know, Tina Watkinson, and that could be housed by Outlook, by Microsoft, or housed by Google. They don't really mind. So yes, interconnects with either Microsoft or Outlook.
And I'll be totally transparent. Microsoft doesn't play well with a lot of things, as people who use Microsoft know. So we usually say with SuiteDash, the answer is yes. The question is how, because there's so many ways of achieving the same outcome. I just always go back when I have one of those little times where I have to work around because Microsoft might be difficult, or there's something I go, oh, I wish it would, and it doesn't quite yet. I always go back to, I'm not paying for this thing every month. So, Tracy's car analogy, yes, I probably could have a Ferrari if I wanted to pay for it. I don't want to, I can't. But I'm very happy with the Kia that takes me everywhere. So just keep that in mind when you have those questions, that to answer that question, yes, we can integrate it with Outlook and Microsoft. It is a little more difficult than Google, and that's just the way it is, but we can make it work. So the biggest thing for Tracy and I is, once you have that basic understanding of all the bits and pieces, then you're empowered to kind of do anything with this. And if you have a question, that's where you know the language to reach out and ask somebody.
Yeah.
To continue with
I can see other questions coming through, and we're going to get to them. So please don't think I've missed. We've got multiple URLs and things like that. So we will be getting to that. Let's look through the Office section, because I think this is where it really starts to deviate from a lot of the other systems that we see. So without going into too much detail, Pete, what does invoice estimates, proposals, etc. mean for us?
I'll do a really high level view. I know a few of you said you had to run away at 10 o'clock. So as soon as the recording of this is processed, I will top and tail it and get it out to everybody. So certainly by this afternoon, you'll have the recording. So if you've got a question you have to run, just post it in the chat and we will answer it, even if it's after you've left, because time is of an essence with these lifetime deals, because I know I've missed them in the past. So the Office part is like your accounting system. It's like your Xero, it's like your MYOB, but it's all integrated. So you can create estimates or quotes. You can do proposals for people, where you can set up a dynamic proposal where they have to sign off on it, and then it'll create the quote for them. They approve the quote, they get an invoice, they pay the invoice. It links with Stripe, so the system knows when an invoice has been paid on Stripe, so you can straight away generate some automation, send some documents, give them access to the portal, or do nothing, whatever suits. So it gives you all those abilities that your accounting system probably doesn't have. I think that's about it for Office. It gives you the ability to send documents. It replaces things like DocuSign, so you can send documents out for signing. It gives you an audit trail. Depending on how you send the document, you can actually make it like compliant with a whole heap of high-level government type regulations, or you can send it out for more open signatures. For most of our small businesses we work with, people tend to use the more open way rather than locking everything down, but certainly it has those facilities. So we can create a quote.
So one of the questions is, does it integrate with Xero and Stripe? It definitely integrates with Stripe directly. Does it integrate with Xero? It can. You've got to use
not easy.
Like the one that I can't remember, the double adapter one.
Yes, a Zapier or something like that.
Zapier, thank you.
So the way we run it, we run Xero. When the end of month comes, one of my little jobs is I raise some master invoices in Xero to match any invoices we've done in SuiteDash. I've even got a report. It's not hard. And that ticks all the accountants and tax boxes. but it allows us to use the automations of SuiteDash. So again, considering I'm not paying for SuiteDash ever again, I'm quite happy with that. If I could ditch Xero because they keep putting their prices up, I would do that. But unfortunately, the ATO need it.
And Kat says the system remove the need for QuickBooks in terms of reporting. Kat, that's probably a bigger question because I'm not sure what terms of reporting you're meaning. But if you want to kind of clarify that, you can certainly set your dashboard up. So remember that home screen that we looked at when we first logged in. You can certainly create a dashboard for yourself that would give you access to whatever reporting metrics that you want. But in terms of, so Kat's further question there, Pete, is, so will it give you P&L, balance sheets, etc.?
No.
Yeah.
No. You need a proper accounting program still. I don't know, maybe one day we'll get there and SuiteDash will launch something, but like it's just so easy to do BAS and link with your accountant. If you've got any sort of reasonable size business, you're still going to need an MYOB or a QuickBooks. It does actually integrate with MYOB or QuickBooks.
Direct.
It does integrate with QuickBooks Direct. Again, I always caution because it creates some accounts and things. It's the same as when I integrated Stripe with Xero. I got some weird stuff happening. So always integrate slowly, get it working first. But it does take some of the load off, and certainly the automations in the back end are really nice parts to have in SuiteDash.
Awesome. Let's keep going. Let's go to projects because we've still got a lot to get through. And this is just going to be a really, really quick one because projects are
okay. I'm not even going to go into projects, but let's just say you have a standard sort of project. I can't think of a project manager off the top of my head right now, but there's a stack of them.
Most people use Trello or Monday or Asana would be the big project systems that small business use.
So you can create projects dynamically, automatically, manually. You can do a set of tasks. You can have templates for things that you do over and over and over again. You can have your clients generate work requests for you. So if you're in an industry where you have people reach out to you and say, hey, I need you to commission a new painting or make me a new handbag or build a new something, you can create a work request. Great for web developers or software developers. It also has timers in there that you can link to your project, so you can, like the accountant bill in every 15-minute increments, or is it 5-minute? So you can do all of those sorts of things.
Gantt charts and deadline views, Pete? Yes, no?
Yes, Kanban views and deadline views. And because it's automated and it's task dependent, I can create a project where the first task Tracy has to do, and I don't see anything until she actually completes that task. Then I will get an email to say, hey, your task is ready. I can put a timer on that, but if she doesn't complete it within a certain period of time, it'll come back. So projects, some of the people we've worked with over the years, from real estate agents to cattle studs, have used the projects very effectively as a task flow, and been able to get rid of some other things.
As you move on to marketing, Fiona, yes, projects could work for a renovation company, so engaging tradies and informing customers, etc. Yes, you could definitely use it for that. All right, marketing. This is a big one for a lot of people because, this is where we're plugging in things like a MailChimp for our email marketing campaigns, or lead pages, or, various other different things. So let's spend 5 minutes or so on marketing. So Pete, talk us through all of the marketing stuff that.
Tracy, you were reading my mind. I was about to say, so marketing is where MailChimp and those sorts of things embed into this system. So marketing is, I want to send an email to a group of people. And my example here is Dolby 4th of September group. I don't know what that was. I made it up. If I wanted to send a particular email to those people, a newsletter, EDM I think they call it, electronic marketing something.
Direct mail. Yep.
That's what they call it. If I wanted to send something like that, I would do that in the marketing section. And the marketing section integrates with your CRM, so you can have your audiences, you can create campaigns, you can have templates, and you can send out, well, the newsletter Tracy sends out every week, we send out from our SuiteDash in the marketing section. So you
Now
can...
it also does drip campaigns. So as an example, if you sign a client up to your business and you may want them to get a series of emails over X period of time, you can set the drip filters up in there as well. So that can be time dependent. It could be, you know, whatever that needs to be. Templates included. They do have templates in the system, Kat. But I find that once you get the hang of it, it's just as easy for you to create and brand your own templates and then just duplicate them. But there are definitely templates that are pre-built into the system as well.
So let's say there's some templates for you.
So here's some templates.
There's a lot of them. So let's say you were creating a webinar or a course, or you had an event coming up. What Tracy said about the drip sequences, you can create a marketing campaign of drip sequences that will go out 1 week before your event, 1 month before your event, 2 months before your event. And then when the event happens, you can also have a drip sequence sent up that will go out 1 day after, 1 week after. You can, it's totally flexible. I've got one set up in our system for 4 years' time that I've just parked and forgotten about. I don't think there's any limit on it. I'll tell you in 4 years if it actually fires, but there doesn't seem to be any reason it won't. So I think you can set up drip sequences to run both ways.
Adrian's just got a question there on drip campaigns. Can they be based on criteria other than time-based? So there's no point promoting to a converted user? Absolutely. Absolutely. You decide the parameters of what that drip campaign looks like and set it up according. Let's jump down to content because it kind of links into the marketing as well.
Content is where you display content in the system. So it becomes like a mini website. So we have landing pages that we can create, and these landing pages are available externally to the system. So you don't have to log in, which is where it is really, really good to have your own custom URL up here, because I can create a landing page that will be Tracy, which would be user.thedigitalguide.com.au/Tracy. I could create that landing page. On that landing page, I can build all sorts of elements and put buttons and do all sorts of things like a normal website with some limitations. It is not a HTML website, but I can put a text box, I can put images, I can put graphs, I can embed things, I can embed external code. So I can do a fair bit with a landing page.
And this was definitely one of the questions, sorry, that Victoria had, that she reached out separately the other day about creating landing pages, and does she still need a website if she can build landing pages inside of here? So my response to that is, look, you can see if you've got, user.victoriarose.com.au as an example, as your SuiteDash thing, you could build a bunch of different landing pages that would just run off there. My belief is you should always own your URL, so always do the victoriarose.com.au. So here's an example of a system that we built, or a system.
So this is a website.
Yeah.
This is HTML, WordPress, normal website. But if you click that link, that is taking you to a SuiteDash landing page.
And you can see at the top there, the URL is grant and tender services. So you can see now we've moved away from grantandtenderservices.com.au, the website, and now we're in their SuiteDash system.
Now, the reason we're here is we want to have a form at the end. We could have embedded this in the website. I just chose to do it this way. But to quote one of our farming clients, it's really, they're like brothers on the farm. Sometimes you get your website to do something, and sometimes you get the SuiteDash to do something, and sometimes they work together. The brilliant thing about being able to build the landing page in SuiteDash is it is so dynamic that if you don't work your website, and many people don't, many people outsource the HTML coding, the WordPress and stuff, you can just ask your web developer to put a link on your website, and then you can edit this part. You can change it. It's dynamic. You can create courses and things without ever touching your website, but it links into your website. So as far as people in the real world are concerned, they don't know.
Yeah. And if you just, when you were on that GTS one, because this answers one of the other questions, and scroll to the bottom, you can see right at the bottom, there was a form embedded, and that form, you create those forms in SuiteDash. So that can be as simple as you just want to gain those people's details. And remember, we were talking right at the start about ways that you can kind of hack the system and make it a little easier for yourself. So this is where, you know, a number of our clients actually create these forms and then get their clients or their team members to complete the forms. So, for example, Bron, if you were you know, had guys out on the field doing an evaluation or whatever, you could just have a form created that they would just fill in on their iPad or their phone or whatever while they're on site. It would automatically upload that information, obviously, to SuiteDash, and then you could give your clients, so the mining companies, a login directly to SuiteDash where they could see all of that data collected. And it can be photos, it can be text, it can be, you know, whatever it is, invoices. We've got smart pups, assistance dogs based on the sunny coast that train Labradors for kitties with autism and emotional requirements and things. And they have a form where the people who are given the dog, they have to upload their vaccination certificates, etc., each year to make sure that everybody's compliant. So there's different ways that you can use forms. You can embed them on your website. You can use them for clients or for suppliers or whatever to input their own data, so you're not having to do a lot of that heavy lifting. And if you feel as though your team may be a little hesitant to swapping systems or things, creating forms are a great way where they don't actually have to log into the back end, but will still be able to complete those projects or those things for you that you need done. It's also a great way for your clients to input their own information into the system for you. Pete, let's jump back out.
I think that's been one of the big awakenings we've certainly had over the years with SuiteDash versus other systems. So just to reinforce that Smart Pups thing Tracy spoke about, they have trainers who train the puppies who have to do a weekly report. Up till now, they've always done it on a bit of paper. It's gone into the office and somebody's had to file it away or do something, lose it. Now they have an iPad. They have the link to a landing page that has been created. On that landing page is a form that they just type into and update the information about the dog. The dog is the client. They type the dog's name in, they type the information, they press submit. The system is updated. The people in the office can look up the dog and actually see in the CRM everything they need to know about that puppy and its training. The trainer has not had to learn this system at all. They just have an iPad with a web page on it. They don't even have to think about it. So it's been revolutionary.
And think about now how this becomes integrated across the whole of business, right? Because if we use the Smart Pups analogy, the trainers fill that form in, but it's then also a project that then triggers an automation internally to say this thing hasn't been done, you need to action that, or you now need to, get in touch with this or do that. So these forms and the other things, start to think about now how they can trigger and work across the whole of business. So question as you move to the next thing, are these form fields dynamic data points across all modules, and can they be retrieved and integrated in other areas? Absolutely. So they can be conditional logic as well, Susan. So, if this, then that. So if they've filled in chocolate ice cream as their favorite, they would go down one pathway. If they fill in vanilla, they can go down another pathway. You just, again, set that up the way that you need that to work for your business.
So this is a quick example of I think it was a Manchester United football club, I can't remember. They wanted a way to mark the roll very quickly when kids turned up to after school classes. So a nice dynamic form that with a counter here that tells them how many sessions the child's got left. It uploads their nickname because they are a dynamic form. They can fill data in as well as take data out, if you know what I mean. So forms, very powerful.
And you can see, under that direct link there, you can also display a QR code. So, whatever's easiest for your clients or your people, again, it will generate the QR code, and you can, use that then as you want. All right. Let's keep cracking. So Christina, can it replace Typeform? I'll say yes. Give me a little bit more around how you're using it now. If you're using it just like a Google or a Jot form or a Microsoft form, absolutely. I don't use any of those anymore. I just use SuiteDash and everything goes straight in. Surveys, 100%. So we use the forms, particularly for a lot of the work we do with government organisations, councils, etc., where we have to do a survey for them at the end of the workshop. So instead of collecting and collating all of that data, we just get the client to scan the QR code, complete the details, and then that automatically uploads and the council can log in directly and see, how much of the course the person's done, what the results are, all that kind of stuff. Also do a before and after. Yep, absolutely. So again, if they're already preloaded, if they've filled in the form once, you can send them a secondary link to the form, which will pre-populate most of their information and just update the stuff that you need them to. Adrian, you can push form in via an API or Zapier, thinking of custom forms. You can. I don't know why you'd want to. So give me an example of what you'd mean by that, Adrian, because you can create a dedicated link that you can put directly.
This might answer your question, Adrian, that you can embed this form in your website using an embed code. You can embed it on SuiteDash using a placeholder, or you can get a direct link and create a direct link. You can create a friendly link that you can just send off to somebody. So
and a friendly link so where you can see on the direct link, it's app.suitedash.com/forms/blah, blah, 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 blah. An alias or a friendly link just means that it would be app.suitedash.com/Christina's enrollment, just something friendly that you're going to remember. So
also on that, it has the ability to replace Bitly because you can create friendly links for any site, not just something within SuiteDash. So anything you want to create a friendly link for, you can. So there's Bitly gone. Running out of time, so just very quickly, it has file management system. You can upload files, download files, share files.
So we got rid of Dropbox is the good example for that. So if you use Dropbox, that gets rid of that for you. So the next one down, onboarding, that's like your internal workflows. So, if you're onboarding a client or you're onboarding a team member, again, you create a flow. So the first thing they do is this, then this, then this, then this. So if
you need some formal certificates uploaded or something, you'd create a please upload your certificates, and they can't do anything till they've actually uploaded those and you've verified them.
Correct.
Yeah.
So support is kind of does what it says on the box. That's your kind of support ticketing.
What support does is ticketing, but a lot of people use it for that centralized email on your website. So where you put a contact us email on your website, it can go into the support system, and that will broadcast to the people in your team you allocate it to. It'll create a ticket to say that somebody's made an inquiry, and just set off a whole heap of automations if you wanted to.
Yeah, awesome. Messaging.
So messaging lets you do internal messaging in the system. So like a Slack or a whatever, where you want a Trello, where you want to talk to people internally. It also allows you to track sending emails to people, because you can set up messages that will leave the system as emails, but you also get a notification when they've been read. So that's quite lovely to know that somebody's actually seen your message.
Awesome. Automation. This is a big one for people as well.
This is a huge one, and we won't go into it in huge detail, but basically this is where you can automate all sorts of functions within the system. So you can automate that when something happens, you'll send them an SMS, or you'll remove a tag, you'll change this circle, you'll apply an event, you'll generate a document. So let's say you need somebody to sign a document before they work with you, but they have to upload their driver's license before they can do that. They fill out the form, they upload their driver's license. You can set an automation to then generate the document with their specific data, send it out. They have to sign it. When it comes back, then there's another automation triggered. So very powerful.
So this one, a lot of people, as you move down to the LMS, Pete, a lot of people really like the automations, the workflows off the back of Agile or Active Campaign and things like that. So that is very similar. I do find that this one's probably a little bit more powerful, because you can get it to run internal, external, plus you can link it to things like e-sign documents, upload information, which Active and Agile can't quite offer as seamlessly yet. Let's have a look at the LMS, because this is a big one for a few people as well. And then we're just going to go through the questions that have been coming in that we haven't answered.
So for the LMS, just think Kajabi, think any of the big learning management systems. You want to create a course, so you can have a product, which is a group of courses. You can create a course, which is just what it says. It's a group of modules that you work through. It can be videos, it can be a single course. You allocate it to people, they log in, you can manage their access, you can track their access, you can create a landing page for the course to promote it and sell it. Very powerful.
So Thinkific, Kajabi, any of those, exactly the kind of same. We got rid of Kajabi. We were using Kajabi. When we moved across to SuiteDash, we were able to get rid of Kajabi. Also, think about, again, like everything we do, it doesn't have to be external courses, right? Like you might need to create OH&S stuff or internal onboarding stuff that people need to go through. So the LMS can be used internally or externally as well. So I'm going to start to go through questions, because we've only got 6 minutes to go. So I'm going to go right back to the beginning, and let's talk about the deal now a little bit. So it is $199 USD, and I'm just going to bring it up on the screen. Pete, have you got the link? I'm going to pop the link into the chat box for everyone at the moment, but I'm also just going to bring it up on my screen so we can talk.
I can do the friendly link I created.
Awesome. Do you want to do that for me while we talk it through, please? So $199 USD, it's what they call the Pinnacle plan, okay? And essentially what it means is, the way SuiteDash work, they talk about keys. Now, HubSpot and a few others refer to them as seats. So, Pete, do you want to talk us through a couple of the questions were how many, like how do I use this for my business. So let's talk a little bit about seats, keys, how that works.
So the actual lifetime key, one key gives you a super administrator account, and it gives you 3 staff positions. Staff are actually people that do what I just did, manage the system. But like we said with our Smart Pups business, they've got like 15 people in their business running on one key because most of the people access it as a client. Now, if that sounds confusing, it is a little bit confusing to get your head around. All I can say is don't panic. It does work. If you want to, you can stack up to 10 keys and then you have infinite staff. But most people don't need more than 1 or 2. You've got to be a pretty serious business to have more than 3 or 4 people. If you have a question about it, we got a few days. Reach out and ask me offline, and I'm happy to have a one-on-one chat with you about that. But I would say for most of the people on this call, one key will get you into the system and working, and then it's just a matter of learning enough to be able to hack it to maximum benefit.
The Pinnacle plan, the other thing to know that I really appreciate is that when you purchase, you get all future updates. So, the amount of stuff that's been updated in this thing over the last 4 years since we've got it, it's a completely different system now to when we bought it. Now, one of the questions was storage, and I'm trying to remember, Pete, what the storage is on the Pinnacle plan. I want to say it's 200. It's not a huge amount.
So again, storage is a tricky one, and happy to talk to you offline. I haven't had anybody in whatever 4, 5, 6 years that has needed more storage, but with each key you get more storage. So
Kat,
as
a
photographer, you would already use a dedicated photographer system. You would be using this as your CRM, and we would integrate the two together. So Tracy, as all of you would know, does a lot of videos. We don't store the videos in SuiteDash. We store the videos in YouTube or Vimeo or Loom or somewhere else and stream them through SuiteDash. So again, it's $199 for the rest of your life. You can find many, many workarounds that mean you will never run into storage issues.
Awesome. We had a question right back at the get-go from Joe about Insightly and MailChimp. Hopefully this has all answered that. So you can see it does everything that Insightly and MailChimp does, and more. You'd be able to get rid of Dropbox and Calendly and all that kind of stuff as well. So I'm just going through what else we've got going on here. Keep popping those questions in. We've got a couple of minutes to go. So Kat's saying, this is awesome. I'm building my system to enable me to travel and connect with people in different parts of the country. Bronze says,
this would be perfect for just that. That's its sweet spot, is connecting with people, managing with people, segmenting people. And because of the landing pages and the way we can integrate your existing photo sites and things into it, it's brilliant for
that. So Bron's saying Active Campaign plus HubSpot equals SuiteDash. I'd say Active Campaign plus Calendly plus equals SuiteDash. So Erica, can you have multiple URLs, multiple websites on this system? At the price point of the $199 USD, personally, I'd be going one system per website, because that's where it does get a little convoluted because you attach your email. So for example, everything I send out is like admin@thedigitalguide.com.au. So you'd have to be switching, accounts and stuff around internally. Pete, your thoughts on that as we go down?
Yeah, and a lot of people, when you see all the possibilities, you start getting super excited. And I always say, let's just step back and think about your client and your end user, because that's why we're in business, not for ourselves. Well, we're in business to have fun and a good lifestyle, and for the client. So if it worked better for your client, then I would say, yes, sure, buy 3 or 4 codes and we can set up 3 or 4 systems. I've never had anybody needed to do that using landing pages, integrating pages. We can usually get around it. So
awesome. So Christina says, how long was the setup? So you still need a website. I have Squarespace. How long was the setup? 4 years on, we're still setting it up. Basic setup though. And one of the things that we can do for those who are interested, and we'll put it on the email, is obviously you buy the key. That's $199 USD. For those interested, we do run boot camps. So as Pete said, we're very keen on getting you to understand how everything works. That way, if you want to outsource it, you at least know what it can and can't do. So we will be running a boot camp off the back of this for people who have signed up and are interested. The boot camp, Pete, tell us a little bit about that as I'm going through.
So the way I like to run the boot camps is, well, Tracy and I do them over 6 sessions, hour to an hour and a half, every second week. And then the in-between weeks, we do online, where I sit online for an hour and you ask your questions. It is about you doing the work and learning. If you want us to implement it for you, we'll reach out and we can discuss that one-on-one. But it is best if you do the boot camp, you learn the basics, and then when you know what you don't know, then we can talk about the best and most effective way for you to manage this thing for the rest of your life. The boot camp, we usually set about 3.5, but I think we talked about, we talked about this morning, and I should pay attention, 1,500?
Yeah, so 1,500 for six 1-hour sessions over 12 weeks, so every fortnight, because you need a chunk of time to get the work done in between, plus up to 60-minute ask anything call each week where you can bring your questions. So that will be on top of the $199 USD. And then if you want to have Pete do a basic setup at the same time, it'll be $2,000, and he'll do the branding and some initial stuff. We'll put that in the email. Adrian said, and I know we're a couple of minutes over. If you need to go, please do. I just want to make sure that we answer the rest of these questions for you before we disappeared. Adrian says, I noticed the Notion.so button. Is that part of it, or is a customized link implemented as part of the dashboard? No, it's not part of SuiteDash. I still love Notion, so I use Notion myself. So it's just an embed link we've put into our dashboard to make quick access off to things that we use day in, day out.
I've embedded all the things we use daily, from Xero to Notion to Google to just everything, as quick links on the dashboard in SuiteDash, so that when we or our VAs log in, everything's in front of you. So the idea of this is that when people get to work in the morning, whether they're working in a cafe like I am or in the office like Tracy, the first thing you do is you log into SuiteDash and everything's in front of you. And that way you're going to encourage your team to use it, and you're going to use it because it's easy. So we have our style guide there. When I want to know what color to put on the website, I don't have to go looking. I just click the link. So that's brilliant. We can embed everything in it.
Pat says, so you can filter customers based on their attributes, such as my wine clients, food clients, product clients, headshot clients. Absolutely. Bronwyn says, can I import my data from HubSpot? Absolutely. Note to self, the only thing to recognize when you're exporting from your current CRM or current system into any system, it's not just SuiteDash, or it's not just HubSpot or Agile, you will get the core data. So first name, email, your properties. What you won't get is the email history. So I sent Bron an email 3 years ago. It won't export that. So just be aware of that. Susan says, is the email integration bi-directional, Pete?
Sort of. They're working on that. It's on the wish list. but there is a workaround that it works quite nicely, so I can share that with you. We've been using it. Up front, it's not as seamlessly bi-directional as HubSpot was, but for $1,500 a month versus $199 forever, I can live with the workaround. If you can live with it, do it. If you can't, don't do it.
Susan said, any plans for a Xero integration? I haven't looked at their roadmap lately, but I would say maybe. But I think Pete talked through kind of how we're getting around that one at the moment.
So,
Susan says, how many users or seats can you have? Well, you can buy up to 10 keys. I think one key gives you three people.
yeah, and Susan, don't get caught up in the seats because, like I said, there's many ways around it. But one key gives you 3 internal staff positions, 2 gives you 6, 3 gives you, I think it's 9. Then it's exponential. When you've got 10 keys, you've got infinite number of staff. But as I said, the way we manage this, we don't give most of our staff access to the internal system. We only give those that need to build the system. Everyone else we give access via a portal page.
Is it easier for the mechanics of ActiveCampaign in terms of setting up drip sequences? Easier, different. It's just, same, different. And it's a lot of it is getting your head around the language they use, to be honest, because you'll go from, properties to circles and that type of thing. So Bron says, do I still need to use another email marketing platform and integrate it into SuiteDash, or will it all be handled? Nah, you ditch all of the other things. It's all handled internally. Claire, g'day, Claire. Mate, I've started drinking pink gin, so you and I need to have a separate conversation. Refresh my mind, Pete. Can we set up 2 businesses brands within the one SuiteDash? So we just talked about that. One business would be a subscription model. So probably worthwhile having a chat with Pete about that.
Claire, probably jump on and get one of the discount codes while they're available, because in your case, I know they will be 2 separate businesses. And for everybody out there, if it's a totally separate business and you're going to be sending emails branded differently, you'll need 2 implementations.
So Fiona says, unless I missed it by subscribing, does this give myself and my staff member, we've done that one, or do I need to? Christina, LMS, please. Plus, it might replace the SOPs I'm creating. I think so. We have all our SOPs in there as well that we can just share. Erica says, okay, here's a curly one. And Erica's obviously the real coder geek in the community, and I love that. Erica says, can you add HTML5 content interactive learning courses into the LMS? I know it doesn't do SCORM, but hoping HTML5 will.
With some limitations.
Okay. There,
so
if you want more detail on that, drop Pete an email after you get the thing, and you can have.
It is a very HTML friendly system, and I've been able to do lots of little hacks and things in the background with HTML code. It does allow for CSS code. So if you know coding and you're comfortable, there is a lot you can hack. I'd say get one, play with it for 30 days and see. There is some limitations in that it's not a website. So if you want to do like movement and fading and things, as much as you can put the code in, it just will ignore that.
So let's talk about data storage, because that's always a big one. So where is the data stored?
So it's Amazon Web Services they use. They're working on being able to allocate your region, because we have some government clients who get a bit antsy and then use Microsoft anyway. So it is just on AWS now. Speeds have been dramatically upgraded over the last 12 months, so it's hosted close to you, wherever you are. Can't actually guarantee that our data is hosted here. It could be offshore, but I can't guarantee where Facebook hosts their data anyway. So
the AWS has been a good solution for us with government clients. So because it's hosted with AWS, it's now classified as what we call right fit for risk. which gets by most of the government or council requirements. Adrian says, audiences, does this cater for static and dynamic lists to steal the Pardo parlance? It certainly does. Joe says, yes, thanks. And slightly MailChimp time trade could go, would review. Yep, awesome. Susan, can the system do workload planning for me? Give me some more detail. Just pop a little, what do you mean by workload planning? Are you talking about like creating timesheets for people? So Kat says, repeating my question, do I need 2 separate keys? Hopefully we've done that one now. Got to go.
So Kat,
Here's the video.
talk about that offline.
Yeah.
If you need more.
So Susan says, do you know if there's any plans by SuiteDash to supersede Pinnacle as their platinum solution and essentially make Pinnacle redundant, making lifetime? Mate, we chat to Mike, who's the CEO, probably once a week. Pinnacle's their Pinnacle. I mean, look, I'm never going to say never, but we've had Pinnacle for 4 years, and we've only been given more features, not had anything taken away. I've got to say, Mike's like a pretty genuine kind of guy. So
yeah, can I just add in there that if you're having a look at the system, have a look at the power-ups. There are 3 or 4 power-ups, I think.
The power-ups are worth looking at.
Are an additional monthly fee. Many of our clients never need a power-up and never use it. But we looked at the support function. So let's say you want a live chat on your website. You can have that with SuiteDash using a power-up. It'll cost you a few bucks a month. Let's say you want a community page like a Facebook wall on your SuiteDash portal. You can have that with a power-up. So there are a couple of power-ups. I think the most you could get to is about $30, $40 a month, maybe a bit more. But they also offer them at lifetime deals at different times. So once you get to know it and you're using it, and you go, hey, I'd like this community thing, you wait and a power-up special will arrive, just like these ones, and you buy it and you've got it for lifetime, which is what I've done over the years.
And anyone that does anything through us with SuiteDash, we sometimes get those special deals as an ambassador, so we pass them on to our clients. So power-ups are the only thing to kind of keep an eye on, but that's a whole other thing, and we're 15 minutes over already. Victoria says, happy to do the work as long as I don't find myself in a cul-de-sac. Love that. Jessica said, I might have missed this, but is there ability for LMS to have interactive elements? So yes, that's a bit of a workaround, as Pete said. Kat says, so can you see the flow of the automation? I'm only in light in active campaign and I can't see it. Yes, you can. I need to talk to you about the SOP bit. No worries. Just reach out to Pete. Thanks, team. Appreciate your time. Susan, last question. I have 5 contracts requiring X hours in the next Y weeks. What time do I have available and when? Oh, that's the workload planning. So, for example, if she's got 5 contracts requiring X amount of hours over the next few weeks, what time do I have available and when? So that would be the workload planning. Yes, you could, 100%. The answer we've discovered, I think Pete said earlier, is always yes. It's just how do you make it happen? So, you need to kind of pick which bits you want to work on first. Online course hosting, yes, that's the LMS. So, yes. Right. Folks, I think we really need to wrap this up. I've had someone sitting online waiting for my 10:30 call for the last 15 minutes. So apologies to Susan in advance for keeping her waiting, for Susie. I think that's everything. I'm going to pop the link back in for the SuiteDash thing if you want to have a look. Pete's going to turn the video around really quickly. Any other questions you've got, drop Pete a response to the email when you get it, and you guys can have a quick chat about life, the universe, and everything. But hopefully that's kind of answered the initial SuiteDash questions. We get it. It's a big sucker to get your head around. Pete, final thoughts, and we'll say goodbye.
Final thoughts, yes, don't be overwhelmed. That's our goal, is to teach you the basics. It is just, if you're going from another system to this one. It is just like learning a different car. You go to Europe, you hop in a car, the indicator's on the other side. It's still an indicator, it just mightn't look like it. You hop in something and the gear stick's gone because they replaced it with a button. That's our aim, is to empower you to be able to use it, get the deal while it's cheap, because it is cheap. You've got 30 days to refund it. I have experience in that like 6-7 years ago. If you don't like it, you can refund it.
And if you find, that's the last thing, if you find 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the track that actually, you know what, I'm not using it, guess what? You can sell your key. So you're kind of not stuck with it, because we can just, like our laptop, we can wipe the hard drive and resell the laptop. So you can do exactly the same with SuiteDash as well. So if you go in and you go, I'm going to go all in on this, and then, you know, for whatever reason it's not right, you can unsell the key so you don't get stuck with it. Folks, I think that's about all we can kind of get through in our 60-minute that went to 90 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, if you want to sign up for the free trial to give it a go, please use a burner email and check out the deal. Have a good look through. We'll pop some extra information with some videos and all that kind of stuff in there as well, so you can check all of that out. They have a great online academy as well. The team are really responsive. Any questions you've got, just shout out, let us know. But hopefully we'll see a few of you buying into the deal, and we'll be able to help a few of you out on the boot camp as well. Thank you so much for joining. Have a fabulous week. We're out. See ya.